My dad was a lot taller than my mother. I mean, a lot. He was 6'5", and my mom was just over 5'3". Danish, big, and Brazilian petite. When they met, she didn't speak a word of English, but by the time she died, when I was 10, it was almost as if they'd created their own language. I remember the way he would hug her when he got home from work. He would wrap his arms all the way around her shoulders, press his face into her hair while his body curved over hers. His arms became a set of parentheses bracketing the sweetest secret phrase. I would disappear into the background when it touched like this, feeling like I was witnessing something sacred. It never occurred to me that love could be anything other than all-consuming, even as a child. I knew I never wanted anything less. But then what began as a cluster of malignant cells killed my mother, and I didn't want any of it, ever again. When I lost her, it felt like I was drowning in all the love I had that could never be given. It filled me up, choked me, like a rag doused in kerosene, spilled out in tears and screams and in heavy, pulsing silence. And somehow, as much as I heard, I knew it was even worse for Dad. I always knew that he would never fall in love again after Mom. In that way, my dad was always easy to understand. He was straightforward and quiet. He walked quietly, spoke quietly. Even his anger was quiet. It was his love that was booming. His love was a daring, ferocious bellow. And after he loved Mom with the strength of the sun, and after the cancer that killed her with a gentle gasp, I figured he would be hoarse for the rest of his life and wouldn't ever want another woman the way he'd wanted her. Before Mom died, she left Dad a list of things she wanted him to remember as he saw me into adulthood. Don't spoil her with toys, spoil her with books. Tell her you love her, girls need the words. When she's quiet, you do the talking. Give Macy $10 a week. Make her save too. Teach her the value of money. Until she's 16, her curfew should be 10 o'clock. No exceptions. This list went on and on deep into the 50s. It wasn't so much that she didn't trust him. She just wanted me to feel her influence even after she was gone. Dad reread it frequently, making notes in pencil, highlighting certain things, making sure he wasn't missing a milestone or getting something wrong. As I grew older, the list became a Bible of sorts. Not necessarily a rule book, but more a reassurance that all these things that I struggled with were normal. One in particular loomed large for Dad. When Macy looks so tired after school that she can't even form a sentence, take her away from the stress of her life. Find a weekend getaway that is easy and close, that lets her breathe a little. And although Mom likely never intended that we actually buy a weekend home, my dad, a literal type, saved and planned and researched all the small towns north of San Francisco, preparing for the day when he would need to invest in a retreat. In the first couple of years after Mom died, he watched me. His blue eyes, somehow both soft and probing. He would ask questions that required long answers, or at least longer than yes, no, or I don't care. The first time I answered one of these little detailed questions with a vacant moan, too tired from swim practice and homework and the dull tedium of dealing with persistently dramatic friends, Dad called a real estate agent and demanded she find us the perfect weekend home in Healdsburg, California. We first saw it at an open house shown by the local realtor, who led us in with a wide smile and a tiny, judgmental slant of her eyes towards our big city, San Francisco agent. It was a 4-bedroom, wood-shingled and sharply angled cabin, chronically damp and potentially moldy, tucked back into the shade of the woods, and near a creek that would continually bubble outside my window. It was bigger than we needed, with more land than we could possibly maintain. Neither Dad nor I would realize at the time, but the most important room in the house would be the library. He would make for me inside my expansive closet. Nor could Dad have known that my whole world would end up next door, held in the palm of a skinny nerd named Elliot Louis Petropoulos.